Nawala ba yung essence, no? It got lost in the mix. And then you forgot what it is you wanted to actually cook. All along, you just wanted to do chop suey. Pero lumalabas na hybrid yung niluto mo. No? So, ganun. Parang ganun ang metaphor ko sa ano. So, hindi effective yun, ganun sistema. Ano? So, sa akin, before you do anything, no, although it sounds, okay, we're big on, the other thing is, oh, best practices, evidence-based, no? Na-excite tayo, ganun. It doesn't mean because it's evidence-based, it's best practice, that you implement it, that it's gonna work. It's not guaranteed it's gonna work. What that simply means is that intervention is research-based. That's it. That's it. It doesn't mean that automatically, if you do it, it's gonna produce the desired results. It's not like that. No? So, you have to really think it through, the whole thing. First of all, no, we need a platform where you can, number one, motivate a client who are not highly motivated. That's the key. Motivate a client who are not motivated. That's the key. When a client is highly motivated, kahit na yung programa mo, mediocre, no? Mediocre. But the client is highly motivated, he will get something out of the program. Motivation is a powerful thing. Okay? So look at that. Since that is the most challenging part, no, with our client, you have to think of when we implement all this good stuff, how can we do this at the same time trying to actually motivate them? Okay? So we know that if we implement the TC, and I know that from experience, if we implement it, it's a very motivating program. Why? Because we empower them. Okay. So how do we empower them? Let's just talk about the TC first. Set aside best practices, right? So how do we make our TC in such a way that it is very motivational? Okay? Okay, so anong mga elements ng TC which can actually help us achieve that? Well, number one, it's empowering. Why is it empowering, the TC? Because we somehow, in the implementation, correct implementation of TC, we actually get them to participate and own up the program. You understand the word to own the program? To own the program, meaning this is my program. I am part of this program. Okay? So when I do my job, it's because I'm helping this program, which is my program. They should be feeling like this is my home, this is my house. That should be the attitude, right? So if a resident disrespect the program, imagine one resident writes graffiti on the bathroom, right? They should be upset, right? They should be upset and say, why would you do that to our house? Why would you do that to our program? That should be the attitude, right? When residents begin to talk like that, you know that they are buying in the program, they're owning the program. And you know that in that, if that is the attitude, the motivation is right there already, right? So the model is capable of achieving that. Because who runs the program? We allow them to run the program. Look at the coordinator, the chief expediter, right? If they're really functioning well, if we are supervising them and training them, it will come a point that they feel like I'm running this program. I'm an expediter. I'm helping run this program. You understand? So until those residents, especially the officers, feel that way, you don't have a good, solid program. Because they have to actually, because that is what a therapeutic community is. In a TC, us, the staff, we lead from behind. You understand that? We lead from behind. The residents are the front people who actually run the program, but we are behind. Another metaphor. A TC is like a play in a stage. Okay? The residents are the actors in the stage. They act their role, right? So if you're watching it, you feel like they are actually doing it on their own, right? But in reality is, we wrote the script. We wrote the script. They are not the director of the show. You understand? The director of the show is behind the scene. And what they are acting in there is a script. But it looks like, and they begin to believe that they're acting on their own. You understand? So it's like a play. We are behind. We know the script. We direct the script. We can change the script. We are the director, but they are the one acting out the whole show. That is what it is, right? We are not visible. We are not there. We don't all of a sudden go into the stage and say, stop, stop, stop. We don't do that, right? But sometimes we do that in the TC, right? We would like to be center stage, right? We have the power, but do not make them feel we have the power. We, in the reality of it, you really don't have to show them and tell them, I'm the boss. We are the boss. Okay? But the whole idea is for us to recede in the background and let them play out their role. That's it. That's my metaphor for a therapeutic community. But if the writers, the director is always on the stage, right, where they were trying to have a play, that is very disruptive. Okay? Are you understanding? Do you follow what I'm saying? That's what the model is. Okay? So when that model works, you don't have a lot of problems motivating the clients. Okay, so let's say we achieve that ideal condition. Your TC is running and your senior residents, the system works, you are able to train them, and they're able to assume those positions, and they're able to actually implement them correctly. You know, that point, you can do a lot of those different things. Let's add something into this, you know, so more input, right? How can we integrate? The question is, how do we integrate relapse prevention in this system without disrupting it? Okay, without disrupting it. How do we implement motivational interviewing? How do we implement MI? Can we make MI compatible with TC, which is very directive, and MI is non-directive? Those kind of questions, you raise that, right? Can we make it compatible? Okay, those are fundamental questions you need to ask. And not just like, oh, excited ako kasi motivate yung mga residente. It's not easy to do that. All right? So, the next is, whatever it is, you know, cognitive behavior therapy. Excited tayong lahat, wow, cognitive behavior therapy. Okay, but how are we going to implement that within the context of what we are already doing without diluting, you know, the TC, the system, and also, you know, how do you say, being faithful to the model of cognitive behavioral therapy, for example. You understand? So at the end, you know, if we do not do this kind of critical thinking, mangyayari, madadailot yung evidence-based practice mo, madadailot mo yung TC, and at the end of the day, you're not gonna produce good results. Okay? Am I making sense or I sound crazy? Huh? Am I making sense? Are you following what I'm saying? Okay. I have a chance to do this with you guys. I don't have a chance to do it with other TRC. Okay, but that's what I see happening. Okay, I said, oh my God, this is what they're doing now. Okay, and then so I said, good luck. Okay, so at least now, I mean, I'm here, and you are doing this. So I've had chance to actually put in my 2 cents on what are you doing and how you're doing it. I'm familiar with those interventions. Okay, and I like those interventions. I have practiced those interventions, but there is a place for it. There's a time for it, and you need to pay attention to the context where you implement those things. I told you already. Talking about cognitive behavioral, the thesis is a cognitive behavioral model to really, to, re, to right? Some of you are familiar with cognitive behavioral. It's cognitive behavioral. TC. It's in that green book. I wrote about it in that green book. Why or how the TC is cognitive behavioral model, because it is. Okay. So you don't have to worry about adding in cognitive behavioral model in your TC because it is already cognitive behavioral. We talk about behavior, right? Feelings and thinking. In the TC, we do all of those things. Okay? We don't call it that way. But if you really analyze and look at it, it's similar to cognitive. It's just a different implementation of cognitive behavioral model. Okay? I mean, we could still do some of those. Relapse prevention, we just have to find a way to integrate it, like I said, without diluting both the TC and diluting relapse prevention. That should be how we look at it. Okay? So you need to put your heads together on how to do this correctly. Okay? And I'm open to you to continue our discussion. It will be exciting for us to actually come up with an acceptable model, and all I'm saying to you is with all those things you want to put it in, you better be open to, like I said, adding the days of work. Because there is no way out of it. There's no way out of it. You have a very short program to begin with, right? How are you going to do all of those in a very short span of time? Even that is a challenge, right? Okay. So maybe, you open up and then we fix two problems. If we open up the possibility of looking at the weekends, right? Remember what I said? Most TC suffer because they let go the program on a weekend. We should stop doing that. It's bleeding us, allowing that. It's not cost effective. We waste a lot of energy, okay, by allowing that. So we have to look at how we structure our treatment. So recovery, like I said, is 24/7, right? So programming should be 24/7, right? So how are you gonna do that? It's something that you have to sit down and really put your head together, and redesign things. Okay, so that's my message to you guys. Okay, does that make sense? Makes sense, right? And I challenge you to do that. And if you can really do that, maybe the other TRCs can learn from you. Yeah, the other TRCs can learn from you. I like actually teaching you guys because many of you, when I first started this training, did not know about the TC. Yeah. So you don't have any preconceived notion of what the TC is. And to tell you frankly, when I've been doing this training, I found it much easier to train people who do not know about TC. Okay? And I have trained people in TRCs who have been practicing TC. They call it TC, right? So they have some ideas about the TC. So they have preconceived notions about the TC. And they are stuck in their way of doing things. Ang hirap baguhin. Okay, ang hirap baguhin. I'm very successful in TRCs that are new. TRCs with Chipop Hospital who are also very interested and more invested in the training, right? And they are there, they pay attention, they follow what's going on, and those are TRCs that I did very well. Okay, I have trained in TRCs a staff who just graduated from college, and they didn't even know, what kind of work is involved when they first joined, right? And they were afraid to go inside the dormitories. They were afraid every day. They told me later on, I'm afraid every day I come in. I was so afraid, but I needed a job, so I stuck it out. Right? This is because it's rightfully so. They just graduated from college, and this is a new thing. Or they transition from being a teacher somewhere, and they come in. They have no idea about what a TC. They have no idea about uh, substance, clients, people who use drugs. They were really just no. They don't know anything. But they're like sponges when you teach them. They pick it up. They pick it up. So 4 years later, 5 years later, many of them they go out and do seminars on the therapeutic community. They know how to run the program. Okay? They're not afraid anymore. They can go into the dorm, and talk to the residents and straighten them out. And they get a lot of respect, both men and women. Okay? Residents would just like listen to them like that. So they learn.